Hey guys, it's Dude49, and you guys really enjoyed my first video on one-way smokes on Dust 2 and Inferno, and this video is going to go over more one-way smokes, but this time on Mirage and Cache. So if you haven't already, check out the video in the description for the previous video, but let's get this started. To get these one-way smokes down, the first one is to get a ramp. And the reason they're a little bit tricky, sometimes they require precise aiming and jumping techniques, but I tried to get these as simple as possible so anybody can do them. But the first thing is jumping up on the phone booth. So you're going to want to practice this. You jump on the edge here, move up to these pieces of woods, and then get on top of the phone booth. If you practice it enough times, you could do this like subconsciously. So the whole point of doing that is doing this one-way smoke is for the phone booth. So you basically run up to here, and you can feel these woods holding you in place, so you don't have to worry about lining yourself up correctly. And all you do is right click, aim there in this corner here for this phone window booth, and then you aim right up. So it kind of aligns up with that and that line. You just right click, toss it, and as soon as it pops there, it's going to smoke off the top. So what you could do is jump up on there, and you could get up here and you could see them coming up a ramp, and they cannot see you. So if radio would go over there, I can show you what it looks like. So as a T coming up, you would not be able to notice them. Here, I'm going to do that smoke again so you guys can see it on his end, what it looks like. Again, guys, you just run up to the box here, have the piece of wood blocking off, aim there, a line right up there, and just toss it. It's going to bounce like that, but what it looks like is, and assuming he's a counter terrorist because you'd be the terrorist coming up here, you cannot even see him. All you see is the top of his head, and it's easily covered up by that tree in the back. So he would be able to get the first shot off on you, most likely, unless you were expecting to look up there. And most likely, you're not, because when you come up here, you're looking around here or here, and you're not going to be noticing that. So he'll easily be able to get one guy or two guys easily. So the next one-way smoke I'm going to show you is really good for picking mid. So assume you're an opera that gets the window here, and you're trying to pick a guy mid, and you might feel you're a little slow here, or you're just coming from connector, and you want to see how many people are out there. One of the best one-way smokes to do is notice how when I come up to here, this wood, or I guess this door is blocking me or pushes me out of the way. But if you just go right there, you can aim at this corner right here of the window, this little window wood corner here. Just aim right there and left click toss it. And what happens is you get this opening right here that you can see the enemy, and you can easily start hitting them. And you could even move out more to pick out more people, just slowly peeking it out to cut your corners as you go through. So if radio goes over there, I can show you what that looks like on his end. You can't really tell they're there. Here, I'll do that smoke again for him. Again, guys, you basically go right over here in the wood, aim at the bottom part of the wood, toss it right there, and just hang in the corner. And then for a terrorist coming out of mid, you don't really notice that. You'd assume, as a terrorist coming out mid, you'd assume your teammate smoked it. But you don't notice that there is a guy right there. You can barely even see him. He's right there, and he would most likely, again, get the first pick on you, or he'd be able to get one or two guys before anybody even notices anything. So the next smoke I want to show is for somebody coming up connector. Now, you could do this using an M4, maybe even an op, depending on when you do it. So the best way to do it is you run up into this corner here with the wood. Don't go into this corner right here. You'll feel it just holding you right in place. And you look at this little, I guess, stain in the wood there, and you aim it so it aligns with this long piece of wood there. So it's that little stain and that long piece of wood. Just aim right there and left click and just toss it. It's gonna bounce and land on top of the little windowsill there. So anybody trying to come up connector, you could easily spot them. And you could even crouch and maybe see up in the top corner there. But this really works well for knowing if somebody's coming out lower mid, and you hear them coming up, and you just want to be able to get the pick on them as they're running up before they can even do anything to you. Okay, so this next smoke is really super effective for terrorists coming out mid, and the biggest fear is somebody picking window. Now keep in mind, you get to mid as a terrorist, you get to mid pretty much at the same time he gets the window, but you get there quicker than a guy gets the connector. So you can use this to your advantage, because if you come up here, and if you look closely here, this is kind of hard to make it out because you see a lot of stains here, but the first big stain you see is this stain right here. So coming up mid, you would see that stain there. That's the first big stain. And it's pretty much like, to know where it is, if you're having trouble, just know it's the stain closest to that edge there, okay? So you just come up and you just left click, toss it into there. What happens is it smokes off the window, but it also has a little bit of an opening right here on the right. So you could easily come into here and scope in and be able to take them out. And after doing that, if you don't see anything there, you could slowly creep up and see if anybody's in connector. So it works in two ways of a benefit. It helps your teammates run across mid, and it also helps you pick the guy in mid window. It is extremely hard to notice him there. I would not be noticing somebody coming out of there. I would more likely be watching for somebody coming out on the right side of mid, but by the time I even notice he's there, I would get picked. You're having trouble picking somebody there who knows you're over here in the window. So one of the best ways to do is, again, this takes a little bit of a jumping technique to do. So if you see this little piece sticking out, you can actually jump on that. And the best way to jump on that is crouch jump, and you'll be on it. You can even hold your crouch afterwards when you jump and you get onto it, and you can maintain that aim on the enemy there. So the best thing to do, I say, is crouch jump and then stand up. But if you actually run up to here, you can feel that this little piece here is blocking you from moving left. So if you do that, you aim at this point where these tiles meet, and you just right click and just toss it. Once it blows up, you can see that it smokes off this much, but you can left jump and come out and be able to pick them. They won't even notice you. Sometimes you don't even have to move out to the left. You could just stay on it and you could just pick them all off. You can see it's super hard to see him there. You wouldn't be expecting to see him on top of that. You would more likely be expecting him to be here or here. So he would be able to get the first shot off on you. It's an effective one-way smoke. All these smokes that I'm showing are to make it super effective for attacking choke points or points where people are afraid to peek, or even for defending. And one of the choke points I've noticed is apartments for taking B. And usually you have somebody picking up here or anywhere of these corners having a good strategic point to take your teammates out as they're just entering the site. So if you know somebody likes peeking there, you could do one of these smokes. And this one I just figured out practicing all these one-way smokes is just jump right up into this corner here. Right click and left click. Notice the hand on the left so you know you're doing both keys together. And you see this edge here? You just aim it with this edge here, this line here, the tile with it. So it's basically right here in this little corner right here. You just aim there and just let it go. As soon as it pops, you're gonna jump on top of the couch here and get all the way to the very end. The enemy can't see you at all, but you can see a lot of the enemy. He cannot, surprisingly, believe it or not, you'd think you're really exposed, the enemy can't see you at all. So if radio actually goes over there, you cannot, here, I'll do the smoke again for him. But if he just stands on the far edge where he can just see me, the enemy can't see at all.
Smoke.
Like, you are extremely well hidden in there. I cannot see him at all. And he can see so much of me. Like, radio, if you can see me, take a shot at me. You see that? I can't see anything. It is completely pitch smoke, and he can see everything of me. Even if I stand over here, notice how he just starts becoming visible. So that is an incredible one-way smoke. You can use it super effective. Don't be afraid to see what it seems like is radio. If you stand, like, say over here, and if at any point, radio, you see me, take a shot at me. If at any point. So if you stand right here, do the right click, left click, toss it. Don't be afraid if you guys feel like you're super exposed on this side. I feel like I'm extremely exposed, and he cannot see me at all. He cannot see me at all. I can have the easiest first shot, probably 3, 4 maybe, and I can take him out. And the next best effective thing is if somebody's jumping up and down from here, you could see them and make a call for your teammate, maybe even be able to get the pick. And it's that simple for these one-way smokes. Okay, so the next smokes I want to show is some really simple one-way smokes on D cache, and these are a lot quicker and easier to use than on Mirage, sorry. So one of the first things I want to show is the boost. For boost spot here is you don't have to be right up here to boost somebody. You could literally be as far as radio is right now, and it's a lot quicker and much more super effective because you could just run and jump up on their head up here, and it's all about being super effective because he could be right there and I could just jump on his head and run easily and get up there. So the first smoke I'm going to show here is this one-way smoke for this spot. So you're going to get into this corner here, and you're going to aim at this little dot here. Not this line, this little dot here. It's actually really hard to see, but there's a little dot there. And all you do is left click and toss it, and it's going to bounce right on the top there. And now what's going to happen is the counter terrorist on the other end is going to think his teammate smoked it. But what you could do is get boosted up here really quick. And then once you're up here, you can just move up here on the side, and you can just see the counter terrorists, and they will have no idea you're up there. You could easily get the pick on them. By the time they notice, they would have probably been dead because they're not looking up here once this is smoke. They're probably going to be looking down at mid. So I'm going to do the smoke again, and radio, you can get up here, and then I'll show you what it looks like on that end. So if I toss it there, counter-terrorist up here isn't going to notice this. They're not going to pay attention to that. What they're going to pay attention to is probably this, probably move out here. But by that time, he would have gotten the pick on you. You would not be able to get them. And if I go up there, I can show you what you could see on all angles. You could pretty much even see sandbag and clear out all of mid coming up here. So let me just show you this real quick one more time. You aim at the dot, toss it right there, head on up here. So as you're coming up, you'd be checking up your corners like this. You check mid, you can check sandbag to see if he's there. We already caught him in sandbag, he had no idea. You can even check the vent side and continue on checking mid. So it gives you a really good effective way of cutting all your angles, and the only thing you need to worry is this headshot box here. So the next smoke I want to show is for holding B bomb site, and it's really super effective for the headshot location, which by the way, this is called headshot for anybody playing this location. So usually when you're playing here, it makes it easier for the terrorists to pick you off if they know how to aim. But one of the things you could do is using this target, it's slightly higher up. So what you could do is just line it up with these markers here and actually right click and toss your smoke there. What ends up happening is they'll smoke it off and the enemy will think that his teammate smoked it there. But what you could do is you could easily be able to see them just under here, and you could easily get the pick off. And as it starts clearing up, you can see more of them and they still aren't able to see you. And of course you'd be playing this position with an M4, so it's a lot easier to see them. As radio's over there, I'm going to show you guys what the smoke looks like. He's basically hugging the back wall, and I'm not able to see him at all, but he can totally see me, and it's like a really effective position because he can get the headshots off on me. Okay, so the next smoke I want to show is basically for when a terrorist is actually running through into the bomb site, into this way, or running in from around this way through checkers and coming out into the bomb site. So this is a little bit, I wouldn't assume this is as good as the other ones, but you as a counter-terrorist would want to have to jump all the way up to here and toss your smoke right there with a right click. And what happens is, as soon as it blows up, you just crouch, and the enemy coming in has no idea you're up here. He just assumed his teammate smoked it, but you have clear shots of them. And if you start coming out of here, radio, I'll show them what it looks like. They have a hard time, the terrorists have a hard time of seeing you because you just see them coming in, and you could easily spray them down. So if I do the smoke and radio stands up there, covering that site, I'll show you what it looks like. He has a huge advantage. I cannot see him at all. He's totally hidden in there. And if I even come out of checkers, he's still completely hidden. I can't see him because that dark piece covers him. As a counter-terrorist, that's like extremely effective. So it does work to some extent, but the problem is actually you'd have to be really quick at jumping up here to stop the rush and just get up there and just toss your smoke right there. Okay, so this next smoke I'm going to show is really effective for taking over the A bomb site as a terrorist. And the thing is, it's actually scary to take A bomb site because there's so many spots you got to look at. You got to worry about up there, the forklift, the cubby, all over these places, including the truck. But if you can minimize all those places to look at, it's actually really effective, especially with a one-way smoke that can cut down every single angle. And if this is smoked off, counter-terrorists feel it's safe, like that nobody's going to come through it. But that's where you can use it to your advantage. So you're basically going to go up to this fence in this corner here, and you're going to align your crosshair with this part of the box here, and you're going to aim it at this edge here. And you're going to do a simple right click and left click toss. So you notice the left hand, so both keys are pushed down, and you're just going to run forward and toss it there just before you hit the line. So what ends up happening is, and I know this sounds complicated, but after practicing it many times, you'll get this down packed. So you get into the fence, you aim right up there, align it right here, right click, left click, and you just run forward and just toss it. And what ends up happening is it'll pop right there, but it gives you this little opening so that you could see cubby as a one-way smoke. You could see people hiding there. You could even cut down your angle to here to see anybody hiding up here, and you could walk into the site and easily jump up here and see anybody hiding up there and be able to pick them before they even notice anything, and then you can take over the site. But anyway guys, that sums it up. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of this video and if you want to see more, because I love coming out with tips and tricks, but I don't know if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff. But anyway, if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button, or even check out some videos on screen right now if you guys want to see some more awesome content. And I'll catch you guys later.